So, it happened in the early 90s. I was a teenager. We didn't have much to do back then. There were no computers or cell phones, well, at least we didn't have them. We had to study in the morning, but what did we have to do in the evening? TV? No, screw it. I didn't like the local country ways of having fun either, and probably it made sense. So many folks from that generation are now laying in the raw ground. And plus, I was not a very communicative person at the time. As a result, I only had three friends. One of them directly relates to this story. My friend lived in a neighborhood village. The distance between our villages was about 2 kilometers, which was not a big problem for the young feet. So, almost every evening we would visit each other. We would meet and have a walk trying to avoid locals. Probably you will ask me why I avoid them. The answer is pretty simple. My friend lived in a different village, and back then kids from different villages were enemies to each other. Well, they didn't want to share the girls and the territory, but that's not the point. We just tried to keep away from people, and our walking roads basically were deserted. I'll shortly describe the terrain. Near my house there is a railway that goes along a meadow, then it crosses the river on a high railway bridge and goes past the neighborhood village where my friend lived. Usually you would just choose the short way across the meadow, but in a bad weather we would have to go along the railway because below the meadow at the time the road would just disappear in the water. The meadow itself was located right to the railway, and nearby the railway bridge there was a little footbridge. There were a lot of bushes and trees under the bridge. It all started with them. Once going home from my friend, when I was crossing the bridge, I felt like I was being watched. I think many of you have heard about it, and some of you have even felt that. And I think that's what a victim feels being watched by a predator. It's difficult to describe that in words. It feels like, well, all the hair you have on your body stands on end, and at the same time you feel some strange stupor. However, the further you are from the bridge, the weaker the feeling is. That feeling repeated every time I crossed the bridge going home. Later, my friend came to visit me with his dog. As usual, we had a walk and went home. On the next meeting of ours, he said that his dog had acted weirdly. When they were going back home in the middle of the bridge, his dog ran to the ledge. It was staring at the bushes below. Its hair stood on end and it started snarling. Without barking, it just stood there snarling. My friend couldn't put it back, it resisted so much. Eventually, he managed to pull it back, but when they were about 15 meters away from the bridge, the dog started just running beside my friend as if nothing had happened. So, we have smoothly approached the climax. And again, I was going to visit my friend, and again along the railway. It was late in the evening. The moon was bright enough to see everything around, and approaching the bridge I saw this. From those bushes along the river away from me, thank God, something was running. It was a hunched figure as big as an adult. It had long hair and long arms with disproportionately long fingers coming down to its knees, and it was running at a great speed. Nothing human can run like that. When I saw it, I just stood still. What was I thinking? Well, I was just praying quietly in my head that it wouldn't see me. It was night, and there was no one within a kilometer radius around me. Then I turned around and walked back quickly. I didn't meet my friend neither that day nor the next. I didn't tell anyone of what I had seen. The chance that they would believe me was pretty small. I'd had a sad experience with it. I would end my story here, but in a few days my friend came visit me. He looked scared as if he had seen a ghost. When I asked what had happened to him, he had answered, "Man, that was insane. I was going to yours, and then when I had gone half of the way, I looked back and saw a figure that was running down the meadow towards the railway." And then he described the same creature I had seen earlier. Once again, I had never told anyone of it. The description matched very much. I have no clue what it was, but I definitely don't feel like meeting it again. For a long time after that, we avoided that place. We would still meet and walk, but we would choose another road that would make our way a few kilometers longer. But actually, then it was pretty much forgotten, and we started walking that way again. If you like this story, give this video a thumbs up and push the commonly known red big button because a lot of stories like this and even better are coming. We have a lot of them in Russia, and you guys should know that the world of the dead is like a house. Through the window, you can only see what's inside when it's dark outside.